The signal appeared on a quiet Tuesday morning at the Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico. Dr. Sarah Chen stared at her monitor, coffee forgotten in her hand, as the distinctive pattern repeated itself with perfect precision. After 15 years of scanning the cosmos for signs of intelligent life, she'd grown accustomed to false positives and natural phenomena. This was different. Marcus. She called out to her colleague, Dr. Marcus Patel, who was dozing in his chair nearby. I need you to verify something. Marcus rubbed his eyes and rolled his chair over to her station. His eyes widened as he took in the data scrolling across the screen. That's not random noise. No, Sarah agreed, her heart racing. It's a prime number sequence, but look at the carrier wave. The signal was being transmitted on a frequency that matched the hydrogen line, 1420 mHz, long theorized to be the most logical channel for interstellar communication. But what made Sarah's hands tremble wasn't just the mathematical precision of the message. It was its origin. Kepler 442 bits, Marcus whispered, naming the distant super-Earth that had captured astronomers' imagination since its discovery. We've been watching that system for years. Sarah nodded, already typing commands to focus more of the observatory's resources on the signal. It's perfect for life as we know it. Slightly larger than Earth, orbiting within the habitable zone of its star. But this, she gestured at the screen. This isn't just evidence of life. This is evidence of intelligence, of technology. Within hours, observatories around the world had confirmed the signal. The scientific community buzzed with excitement, but it was what happened next that shook humanity to its core. As teams of cryptographers worked to decode the message, they made a stunning discovery. The mathematical language used in the signal wasn't just familiar, it was human. Sarah found herself summoned to a hastily assembled meeting at NASA headquarters in Washington, D.C. The room was packed with scientists, military officials, and government representatives from around the world. Dr. James Wong, the leading expert in xenobiology, stood at the podium. The implications are extraordinary, he said, his voice steady despite the magnitude of his words. The signal contains information about its senders, detailed biological and genetic data. They're human, not just humanoid, but Homo sapiens, with only minor genetic variations from Earth humans. A murmur of disbelief rippled through the room. General Lisa Martinez, representing the Joint Chiefs of Staff, leaned forward. How is this possible? We have several theories, Dr. Wong continued. The most probable is parallel evolution, guided by similar environmental conditions. But there's another possibility. He paused, choosing his words carefully. They might share our origins. Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. The idea that humans might have been seeded on multiple worlds, or that ancient humans might have achieved interstellar travel, challenged everything they thought they knew about human history. The signal contained more than just biological data. It included images, faces that could have passed for Earth human if not for subtle differences. Slightly larger eyes adapted to Kepler 442 bits' dimmer sunlight. More muscular bills evolved for the planet's stronger gravity. They called themselves the Keplers, and they had a proposition. Their message included plans for a quantum communication device that would allow real-time interaction between the two worlds. The technology was beyond current Earth capabilities, but the Keplers had included detailed instructions for its construction. It was both an olive branch and a test. Could Earth humans match their technological achievements? Sarah found herself at the center of the global effort to build the device. Teams of scientists and engineers worked around the clock, pooling resources and knowledge in an unprecedented display of human cooperation. The project became known as Bridge, and it represented humanity's first step toward joining a larger community of human civilization among the stars. 3 months into the project, Sarah sat in her lab at MIT, reviewing the latest simulations. The quantum entanglement chamber was taking shape, its complexity both daunting and beautiful. Marcus walked in, carrying 2 fresh cups of coffee. The UN Security Council just approved the final funding package, he announced, handing her a cup. Every major nation is contributing. Even countries that have historically been at odds are working together on this. Sarah took a sip of coffee, her eyes still on the simulation. It's changing us already, isn't it? Just knowing they're out there. Knowing we're not alone, but also that we're connected. Part of something bigger. The Fermi paradox finally has an answer, Marcus agreed. We weren't alone in the universe. We were just looking for the wrong signs. We were looking for aliens when we should have been looking for ourselves. As the quantum communication device neared completion, Sarah couldn't help but wonder what this new chapter would mean for humanity. The Kepler's message had hinted at other human civilizations among the stars, each adapted to their own worlds, but all connected by their common origin. Earth humans were about to join a family they never knew they had. The device powered up for the first time on a spring morning, its quantum core humming with potential. Sarah stood with her team, watching as the first real-time connection between two human worlds was established. The face that appeared on the screen was both familiar and strange. Dr. Ariane Nex, her counterpart on Kepler 442 bits, smiled with eyes slightly too large but unmistakably human. "Hello, Earth," she said in perfect English, her voice carrying across 1,200 light-years instantaneously. "We have so much to talk about." The differences became apparent during the first full diplomatic exchange. Dr. Sarah Chen watched in fascination as Dr. Ariane Nex moved through the holographic space created by the quantum communication device. The Kepler scientist's movements were precise, almost liquid, adapted to her homeworld's higher gravity. "Your adaptation to Earth's conditions is remarkable," Sarah noted, observing how Aria had quickly adjusted her movements to match Earth's gravity in the shared virtual space. "Your species' physical plasticity must be extraordinary." Aria's enlarged eyes sparkled with intelligence. "We've had to be adaptable. Kepler 442 bits' electromagnetic storms require us to constantly adjust our biological shielding. Our bodies generate a weak electromagnetic field that we can modulate at will." This revelation sent ripples through the scientific community. The Keplers had evolved beyond baseline humanity in ways that seemed almost supernatural to Earth humans. Their ability to manipulate their own bioelectric fields had led to technological developments that merged biology and electronics in ways Earth's scientists had only dreamed of. But the differences went beyond the physical. As more Kepler citizens joined the diplomatic exchanges, cultural disparities emerged that challenged both societies. The Keplers had developed a form of limited telepathic communication, a result of their electromagnetic sensitivity. Their society was built on a level of transparency that many Earth humans found uncomfortable. "You mean you can't shield your thoughts at all?" asked Marcus Puddle during a joint scientific conference. The Kepler scientist he was speaking with, Dr. Kian Vex, seemed equally puzzled by the question. "Why would we want to?" Kian responded. "The free flow of information and emotion has eliminated most forms of conflict in our society. We cannot lie to each other, cannot hide our true intentions. It has led to a level of trust and cooperation that has accelerated our development." The implications were staggering. The Keplers had eliminated crime, warfare, and most forms of social strife through their inherent inability to deceive. But to many Earth humans, the idea of such mental transparency was terrifying. Privacy and individual mental sovereignty were cornerstone values of Earth's societies. General Martinez voiced these concerns during a closed UN session. "We're dealing with a civilization that could potentially read our minds. How can we ensure the security of Earth's interests?" The answer came from an unexpected source. Dr. Ariane Nex, who had been quietly observing the session, spoke up. "Your fear is based on a misunderstanding. We cannot simply invade each other's minds. Our telepathic ability is more like emotional Wi-Fi. We share surface thoughts and feelings, but only when both parties are willing. The depth of the connection requires mutual consent." This explanation helped ease some tensions, but other challenges emerged. The Kepler's society was structured around small, intensely bonded groups that shared deep mental and emotional connections. They found Earth's larger, more impersonal social structures bewildering. Similarly, many Earth humans struggle to understand the Kepler's fluid approach to identity and relationships. Yet these differences also led to fascinating synergies. Earth humans' emphasis on individual achievement and competition had driven innovations that amazed the Keplers. "Your technological diversity is extraordinary," Arya commented during one exchange. "Our society's consensus-based approach means we typically pursue only the most obvious solutions. Your competition-driven innovation has led to technological paths we never considered." The exchange of knowledge began to transform both societies. Earth scientists worked to understand the principles behind Kepler biotechnology, while the Keplers eagerly studied Earth's diverse approaches to problem-solving. But the greatest changes were philosophical. "We're looking at a mirror that shows us what we might have become," Sarah mused during a late-night conversation with Marcus. "And they're doing the same with us. Two branches of humanity, evolved under different pressures, each with our own strengths and weaknesses." The Kepler connection had another profound effect on Earth society. The knowledge that humanity existed on other worlds began to break down old terrestrial divisions. National and ethnic differences seemed less significant when compared to the variations between Earth humans and their cosmic cousins. As the first month of regular communication drew to a close, both civilizations prepared for the next step: physical contact. The Keplers had proposed sending a small delegation to Earth using their advanced faster-than-light technology. The proposal sparked both excitement and anxiety. "Are we ready for this?" Marcus asked Sarah as they reviewed the security protocols for the upcoming visit. "Meeting through quantum communications is one thing, but having them here, in the flesh." Sarah considered the question carefully. "Ready or not, it's happening. The real question is, can we learn from each other without losing what makes each of us unique? Can we find a balance between the Kepler's unity and our diversity?" The answer to that question would soon be tested. As Earth prepared for its first physical contact with their cosmic cousins, neither civilization could predict how this reunion would reshape their understanding of what it meant to be human. The divergent paths of human evolution were about to converge, and the implications would echo across the stars. The warning came during what should have been a historic moment. The Kepler delegation ship had just entered Earth's solar system when Dr. Arya Nexus transmission cut through the celebratory atmosphere at Mission Control. "We're detecting a gravitational anomaly," she announced, her usually calm voice tight with concern. "It's massive, and it's expanding exponentially." Dr. Sarah Chen watched as the data streamed across her screens. The anomaly had appeared at the edge of both solar systems simultaneously, a feat that should have been impossible given the vast distance between them. The readings were unlike anything either civilization had encountered. "It's consuming space itself," Marcus Patil muttered, his face pale as he analyzed the data. "Like a cancer in the fabric of reality." The Kepler ship diverted from its approach to Earth, taking up a position to study the anomaly. Within hours, a grim picture emerged. The phenomenon was artificial, a weapon or an experiment gone wrong, created by an ancient civilization whose ruins the Keplers had discovered but never fully understood. "We found their outposts scattered across several star systems," Dr. Kian Vex explained during an emergency joint session. "Their technology was beyond anything we'd seen. We thought the installations were dormant, but it seems our attempts to study them triggered something." General Martinez leaned forward in her chair. "Are you saying this is your fault?" "We're saying it's our responsibility to fix it," Arya interjected smoothly. "But we'll need your help. The Ancients' technology responds to specific neurological patterns. The Kepler brain structure has evolved too far from the baseline to interface with it effectively. But Earth humans, with your more diverse neural architecture..." Sarah understood the implication. "You need our brains because they're more similar to the Ancients. And we need our bioelectric manipulation abilities to stabilize the interface," Kian added. "Neither of our species can solve this alone." The next 48 hours were a blur of activity, as the anomaly continued to grow, consuming the outer reaches of both solar systems. Teams of scientists from both worlds worked frantically to understand the ancients' technology. The Kepler ship landed on Earth, bringing their advanced equipment and a carefully selected team of specialists. Sarah found herself working directly with Aria, their differences forgotten in the face of impending doom. The Kepler scientists' ability to perceive and manipulate electromagnetic fields proved invaluable as they studied the neural interface technology. "Your minds are chaotic," Aria observed as they reviewed brain scan data. "But there's power in that chaos. You can form neural pathways we never would have conceived." The breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Marcus, who had been analyzing historical data from both civilizations, discovered a pattern. "Look at this," he said, pulling up side-by-side displays of Earth and Kepler brain activity. "When we work together, our neural patterns synchronize in a way that mimics the ancients' technology." The solution began to take shape: a hybrid interface that would allow Earth humans to connect with the ancient technology, while Kepler's provided the bioelectric stability needed to control it. But the plan was risky. The neural load would be enormous, and any mistake could be fatal. "I'll do it," Sarah volunteered, knowing the interface would require someone intimately familiar with both Earth and Kepler physiology. Aria stepped forward. "Then I will be your anchor." The preparation was intensive. Sarah underwent crash training in basic bioelectric manipulation, while Aria learned to handle the unpredictable surges of Earth-human neural activity. Around them, both civilizations worked together with unprecedented cooperation, pooling their knowledge and resources. The ancient installation they needed to access was located in a distant star system. The Kepler's faster-than-light technology got them there, but the final approach would be treacherous. The anomaly had grown, its gravitational distortions threatening to tear their ship apart. In the installation's control chamber, Sarah sat in the neural interface chair, her mind already beginning to merge with the ancient systems. Aria stood behind her, hands hovering near Sarah's temples, ready to stabilize the connection. "Remember," Aria said softly, "don't fight the chaos. Let it flow through you. I'll keep you grounded." The activation sequence began. Sarah felt her consciousness expand, connecting with systems beyond human comprehension. The anarchic creativity of her Earth-human mind allowed her to navigate the ancient pathways, while Aria's steady presence kept her from losing herself in the vast network. Together, they began to understand. The anomaly wasn't a weapon. It was a test. The ancients had created it to identify civilizations capable of true cooperation, species that could overcome their differences to achieve something greater than themselves. Through the interface, Sarah and Aria began the shutdown sequence. Their combined abilities, representing the best of both human civilizations, were exactly what the ancients had been waiting for. The anomaly began to recede, reality knitting itself back together. As the danger passed, both humans knew their civilizations had changed forever. They had glimpsed a truth about themselves, that their differences weren't weaknesses to be overcome, but strengths to be combined. The path forward was clear, not as Earth humans or Keplers, but as two branches of humanity growing together into something new. "What do you think the ancients would make of us now?" Sarah asked as they watched the anomaly's final dissolution. Aria's large eyes crinkled with amusement. "I think they'd say we passed their test. The question is, what will we do with what we've learned?" The answer to that question would reshape both their worlds. The changes began almost immediately after the crisis. Dr. Sarah Chen noticed it first in the small things, the way Earth scientists had begun adopting the Kepler's intuitive approach to problem-solving, how the Kepler delegation was learning to appreciate Earth's chaotic creativity. The neural interface experience had left an indelible mark on both civilizations. "The barriers are coming down," Sarah observed to Marcus Puttle as they watched a joint research team at work. Earth scientists moved with newfound grace, their minds partially attuned to the electromagnetic fields around them. a gift from their prolonged exposure to Kepler biology. Meanwhile, the Kepler scientists had begun showing signs of Earth humans' adaptability, their thoughts becoming more dynamic and unpredictable. Dr. Arian Nex, who had remained on Earth as the chief liaison, provided valuable insights into these changes. Our civilizations are learning from each other at a cellular level, she explained during a UN conference. The ancient technology didn't just test us, it catalyzed our evolution. The implications were staggering. Earth humans were developing rudimentary versions of Kepler abilities, while the Keplers were gaining Earth humans' cognitive flexibility. But instead of fear, these changes were met with excitement and curiosity. General Martinez, once skeptical of the Keplers, had become one of the strongest advocates for cooperation. "We're witnessing the next step in human evolution," she declared, "not through competition, but through collaboration." The transformation extended beyond biology. Earth's nations, inspired by the Kepler model of transparency, began implementing new forms of governance that balanced individual privacy with collective awareness. The Keplers, in turn, were revolutionizing their society with Earth's concepts of creative discord and constructive debate. In orbit around Earth, a new station took shape, the Convergence, a joint facility designed to explore the potential of human hybridization. Sarah and Aria led the research team, their unique bond from the neural interface experience making them ideal candidates to guide this new era of human development. "Look at this," Sarah said one day, showing Aria a holographic display of hybrid DNA sequences. "The changes aren't random. It's as if our DNA remembers something ancient." Aria's enlarged eyes studied the display intently. Perhaps the ancients didn't just create a test. Maybe they left us a blueprint for what humanity could become. The research at Convergence yielded remarkable discoveries. They found that Earth humans' diverse genetic background, shaped by millennia of adaptation to various environments, provided an incredible foundation for incorporating Kepler traits. Meanwhile, the Keplers' highly evolved nervous systems offered a pathway for Earth humans to develop enhanced sensory capabilities. But the most profound changes were philosophical. The experience of facing extinction together, of literally sharing minds to save both their worlds, had shattered old paradigms about the nature of human consciousness and identity. Marcus, who had been studying these societal changes, presented his findings at a joint conference. "We're seeing the emergence of a new kind of human society," he explained, "one that preserves individual identity while fostering deeper connection and understanding than ever before possible." The Kepler's ship, which had remained in Earth orbit since the crisis, became a symbol of this new era. Its crew regularly rotated, bringing new Kepler citizens to Earth while taking Earth humans back to Kepler 442 bits. Each exchange deepened the bonds between the two civilizations. In the Convergence's observation lounge, Sarah and Aria often met to discuss the future. Through the viewport, Earth shone like a jewel, while the Kepler ship gleamed in orbit, its organic curves a stark contrast to the angular human satellites around it. "Do you ever wonder if this was their plan all along?" Sarah asked. "The ancients, I mean. Creating a crisis that would force us to overcome our differences." Aria's response carried the weight of centuries of Kepler wisdom, tempered now with Earth-human insight. Perhaps they understood something we're only now beginning to grasp, that true evolution requires both stability and change, both unity and diversity. The quantum communication network expanded, linking more distant human colonies discovered by the Keplers. Each new contact revealed different evolutionary paths humanity had taken, different solutions to the challenge of survival among the stars. But now, instead of these differences breeding division, they were seen as opportunities for growth and learning. Back on Earth, cities were being redesigned with Kepler biotechnology, creating spaces that responded to human thoughts and emotions. On Kepler 442 bits, new districts incorporated Earth-style architecture, providing spaces for privacy and individual expression that their society had never previously valued. In laboratories across both worlds, scientists worked to understand and enhance the changes occurring in their populations. The hybrid abilities that emerged were not uniform. Each individual developed unique combinations of Earth and Kepler traits, creating a spectrum of human potential broader than either civilization had imagined possible. "We're not just sharing technology or knowledge," Sarah reflected during a global broadcast marking the first anniversary of the crisis. "We're sharing different ways of being human. And in doing so, we're discovering what humanity can truly become." The broadcast reached both worlds simultaneously, a testament to how far they'd come. As Sarah spoke, millions of humans, Earth and Kepler alike, felt the truth of her words. They were witnessing the birth of a new chapter in human history, one written not in competition, but in harmony, not in fear, but in hope. The ancient test had proved to be just the beginning. The real challenge, and the real adventure, lay in what they would create together. 5 years after the crisis, the convergence had grown into a sprawling complex housing thousands of humans from both worlds. Dr. Sarah Chen stood in the Grand Observation Dome, watching a group of children at play, some with the enlarged eyes of Kepler's, others with the familiar features of Earth humans, and many with characteristics of both. They moved together seamlessly, their games incorporating both Earth's physical dynamics and the Kepler's electromagnetic awareness. "They don't see the differences anymore," Dr. Arya next noted, joining Sarah at the viewport. "To them, this is simply what humanity is." The transformation of both civilizations had exceeded everyone's expectations. Earth's cities now pulse with bioelectric networks that allowed for enhanced communication and cooperation, while Kepler society had embraced diversity and individual expression in ways that would have been unthinkable before. Marcus Patel, now director of the Joint Evolution Institute, had been tracking these changes. "We're seeing the emergence of what we're calling adaptive humanity," he explained during a presentation to representatives from both worlds. "Each generation shows increasing ability to develop traits from both lineages, while also manifesting entirely new characteristics." The ancient technology that had brought them together had revealed more of its secrets. The installation that had created the crisis was one of many, forming a network across the galaxy. Each contained pieces of humanity's original story, fragments of a past so distant it had been forgotten by both Earth and Kepler civilizations. "We were one people once," General Martinez mused during a strategy session. The former skeptic had become one of the strongest advocates for human reunification. "And now we're remembering how to be one people again, but without losing what makes us unique." The Joint Space Fleet, combining Earth's innovative ship designs with Kepler biotechnology, had begun exploring further into the galaxy. They discovered more human colonies, each with their own evolutionary adaptations. Some had developed different abilities than either Earth humans or Keplers, while others had taken unique paths in their technological development. Sarah and Arya led many of these first contact missions, their experience with human reunification proving invaluable. Each new human civilization they encountered added another piece to the puzzle of humanity's cosmic heritage. The ancients didn't just seed us across the stars, Sarah realized during one such mission. They created a grand experiment in human potential. Each world, each environment, pushed us to evolve in different ways. The quantum communication network expanded with each new discovery, creating what became known as the human collective, not a governing body, but a forum for sharing knowledge and maintaining connections across the vast distances of space. Earth's chaotic creativity, the Kepler's unified consciousness, and the unique traits of other human civilizations all contributed to this growing tapestry of human existence. In the Convergence's research labs, breakthroughs in understanding human adaptability led to new technologies that could be shared across all human worlds. The hybrid abilities that had first emerged after the crisis could now be developed safely in any human population that chose to explore them. But perhaps the most profound change was philosophical. The question, "What does it mean to be human?" had gained new depth and complexity. The answer was no longer bounded by planetary origins or evolutionary paths, but encompassed a vast spectrum of human potential. We're not just adapting to new environments anymore, Marcus observed during the 10th anniversary celebration of First Contact. We're actively choosing our evolution, sharing our strengths, learning from each other's journeys. The celebration was marked by a historic announcement. The first joint colony would be established on a newly discovered world, purposefully designed to accommodate all human variants and foster the development of new traits and abilities. It would be called Unity, a living symbol of humanity's new path forward. As Sarah prepared to lead the Unity expedition, she found Arya in their old meeting spot in the observation dome. The Earth shone below them, while Kepler ships and Earth vessels moved together in a dance of cooperation against the star-filled background. "Did you ever imagine it would turn out like this?" Sarah asked, remembering that first signal that had changed everything. Arya's large eyes reflected the starlight. "No one could have imagined this. That's what makes it so perfectly human, our ability to exceed our own imagination." "And what do you think the ancients would say now?" Sarah wondered. As they watched a new group of hybrid children playing below, their movements a fluid blend of Earth and Kepler traits, both women felt the truth of those words. Humanity had not just survived its reunion. It had transcended it. The differences that could have divided them had instead become the foundation for something greater than either civilization could have achieved alone. The stars beckoned, holding more mysteries, more lost branches of humanity waiting to be found. But now, they were ready. Not as Earth humans or Keplers or any single variant of humanity, but as one species united in its diversity, stronger for its differences, and boundless in its potential. The next chapter of human evolution had begun, written not by crisis or competition, but by choice and cooperation. As Unity's colonists prepared for their journey, they carried with them the greatest lesson of their reunion. That humanity's greatest strength lay not in the paths that had separated them, but in their ability to come together and forge new ones.